Good morning, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I'm here to share a bright sunny card, but with a little bit of an unusual shape to it. This is a triangle shaped card. I'm starting off with just 2 squares of white cardstock that I've trimmed to 5 inches square, and I'm just adding a tiny score mark with my scoreboard at the 2.5 mark, and I'm using that as my guideline to trim these down into triangles. Just lining up that tiny score mark I put with the opposite corner of that panel cardstock. So it's going to make 2 perfect triangles that I'll be able to attach together to create my card base. And this will incidentally fit in a 5x5 envelope too, in case you're wondering what you could use for an envelope. Now I'm going to score just the top edge of what's going to be the bottom of the card. That's going to allow it to flex and open and bend. And I like to use a liquid adhesive to hold this together. You can use any kind, but I feel like that's such a small contact point and so important that I like to really make sure it's held together. I use some reverse tweezers to pinch it together, and then also pop some scissors in there just to make sure none of the adhesive leaks out and glues more of the card closed than I want to have closed. Now I've stamped out some fun images from Lemonade Stand. It's one of the newer releases, and I'm coloring in this image quickly with Copics. I've sped up the video, but I'm kind of just showing my process a little bit. I'll list each of the Copic colors I've used on the screen so that you can just see the ones I've mixed together. One thing I like to do a lot is leave a little bit of white space on my images. It just adds some depth and texture, and it's such a simple way to do that. So for all the brown spaces, I'm layering up 3 colors of Copics, and just being careful not to fill them all in, and leaving that white space adds a little bit of a reflection without needing another lighter color to be able to do that. So kind of helps build that wood texture really well too. Doing the same thing here with the blues as I fill those in, and I kind of like to use a flicking motion a lot of times for this too to help build that texture. It just kind of keeps from a straight line and anything just too precise looking, too perfect. It keeps it a little more realistic, I feel like. All right, I'm going to stop talking here for a minute and while I finish coloring, and then we'll move on with the rest of the card. Okay, now that we finished coloring those, I went ahead and die cut them out with the coordinating dies. So we're going to go ahead and build our card here real quick. That part of the card that I've glued together has dried, so now my card base is ready. I'm going to apply a piece of Post-it masking tape along the bottom of my card. This is where I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and then I'm going to use a makeup brush to blend on some Bumblebee Yellow ReverseConfetti dye ink. And I'm also splattering on there a little bit of a mixture of Perfect Pearls and water just to add a little texture and sparkle. Just kind of a fun little addition to the background. I'm carefully peeling off that bottom part, and that's going to dry fairly quickly, but leave it a few minutes to dry just so you don't risk smudging it. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment along the bottom, also from Lemonade Stand. That little white space just allows the perfect strip to fit that in there. I stamped it with Midnight Dye Ink. Good crisp black ink. Now I'm going to arrange my scene on there. So I kind of, I pull out some foam adhesive, but then I started putting that on, then I kind of just played around to decide, okay, where do I want to put everything, and make sure I had everything fit on there where I wanted. Then I can start adhering it down without having to worry that I'm going to stick something down and forget another part that I want to put on there. And because of the shape of this card and the fact it's going to fit in a square envelope, I'm perfectly okay with overlapping the edges of the card a little bit too. I just feel like that triangle shape is such a fun, unique, kind of a different feel to it. And a little bit of an unusual, but actually a fairly easy card to make as well. All right, finishing touch, I grabbed some black twine that I'm going to tie across the front there. I just took it from the inside of the card and around. Because it's at the top, it won't get in the way or cause any problems. And there you go. It opens easily, and you have a fun, unique shape card. Thanks so much for coming by. Have a wonderful day.